Bruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Lamed Dalid Amud Beis. 9 lines from the top at the new Mishnah. The Mishnah really is a hemshech of the previous Mishnah. It's the seif of that Mishnah. The Mishnah stated before that when a person wants to put an eruv in a tree that is situated in the Rishus Harabim, if it's lamalo me'asara tfachim, it's invalid because since it's in a place that's higher than 10 tfachim, and it's on a place that is the width of Dalit Tfachim, and has the din of Rishus HaYachid, whereby you cannot then remove that Eruv, even during Ben Hashmoshos, to bring it from the Rishus HaYachid down to where he is Shoyves in the Rishus HaRabim. However, if it's Lamato Me'asar Tfachim, the Mishnah says, then it's valid. That although it may be in a Mokum that is considered to be a Karmelis, and it might be an issue midrabanan to be mishtamesh be'ilon, but nonetheless, we say over here, according to Rebbe, that b'makam shvus, in a mitzvah reason, lo gozu rabbanan bebein hashmoshus, and therefore they can take that eruv, which is lamata me'asar tfachim, and bring it to where he is shoyves in the Rishus Harabim. Says our Mishnah, Nosnoi berosh hakono, if a person places an eruv on the top of a reed or the top of a pole, bizman shehu talush v'nautz afilu gavoya kuf ama hareze eruv. In a time when this reed is already been detached and then it was put into the ground, then you could put your eruv on top of this reed. The Stam Pashtus reading of the Mishnahs we're talking about where the reed was Asara Tfachim and not Arba Tfachim wide, whereby then the Eruv is on top of the reed and therefore is not considered to be the dimensions of Rishus HaYachid. So therefore you can go ahead and bring the Eruv down to where you're situated below in the Rishus HaRabim. However, some Mefarshei HaMishnah explain that here we are talking about indeed that it is on a space of Dalit Tfachim. But over here it's still not considered to be the Rishus HaYachid because underneath it doesn't have mechitzos that are Asara Tfachim. The advantage, according to this Perush, is because then you have the Eruv situated on a Makom Chashuv of Dalit Tfachim, which is the sheet of Rabbi Yehuda, which we saw before as well. Says the Gemara, Rami le Rav Ada Bar Masna le Rava. Rav Ma'ada Bar Masna asked Rava the following question: Talush v'nautz in lo talush v'nautz loy. He said that it's mashma only if it is on when it's detached, and then you place the reed back into the ground. Then you can put the eruv on top. However, if it was still attached to the ground, it's mechubar lakarka. You would not be able to place the eruv on this reed. Mani, he asked, who is this like? Rabbanan he says it's the Rabbanan then. The Amre loy kol davar shehu mishum shvus gazu Allah ben hashmoshes. It comes out, he's saying this would be according to the Rabbanan, that the Rabbanan hold that which is a shvus, a rabbinic enactment, cannot be then overturned, cannot be transgressed, even ben hashmoshes. And therefore this is the shita of the Rabbanon. So only if it's detached and then it was placed in the ground, then you could put the eruv on top of the reed. But again, if it's mechubar lekarka, then you would not be able to, because then you would be mishtamesh bi'ilon. And therefore, since you cannot be mishtamesh bi'ilon, it's a rabbinic enactment of a shvus. We said it means either climbing a tree or leaning on a tree or even placing something or taking something off of a tree, like it is in this case. That would be a shvus, and according to Rabbanan, that is prohibited to do even during Ben Hashmoshes. I asked the Gemara, "V'hol Amris Reisha Rebbe," but the Reish of our Mishnah, in the case of the Elon, that we said is according to Rebbe. We said if it's lamata me'asar tfachim, you could take the eruv and bring it down below to the Rishus Harabim, because even though you're being mishtamesh bi'ilon, and parenthetically, even though it's a karmelis, those are shvusin. And Rebbe is of the opinion that when it comes to a makkah mitzvah, we don't then prohibit shvus bebein hashmoshes. So it comes out then that the ratio would be according to Rebbe, and the Sefer would be according to the Rabbanon. And that's the Gemara asks, ratio Rebbe v'Sefer Rabbanon. That means the ratio of the Mishnah is according to one opinion, whereas the Sefer is according to a different opinion. Omar le kvaremi le Rabbi Bar Chama le Rav Chisda. Rabbi Bar Chama already asked this question to Rav Chisda. V'shani le Reisha Rebbe Sefer Rabban. And Rav Chisda answered him, indeed, the Reisha is Lafi Rebbe, who says you could, yes, go ahead and do a shvus b'makom mitzvah during Ben HaShmoshos, and the Sefer is the Rabban who said you cannot. Ravina Omar, Ravina answers differently. Kula Rebbe, even the Sefer of our Mishnah, indeed is according to Rebbe. The Sefer Gzeira Shema Yikton. But the difference is that unlike a tree, which is a regular shvus of b'mishtamish be'ilon, whereby the Rabbanon were mekil, according to Rebbe, that during Ben HaShmoshos you can go ahead and be mishtamish be'ilon. When it comes to a reed, it's different. A reed, we're more machmir, because a reed is soft, and therefore it's likely that a person will then take off a piece of that reed. And therefore, even though a reed might be considered to be something that's a regular attached item like a tree, it's different. Here we're machmir, and therefore even Rebbe would agree that one cannot go ahead and transgress that during Ben HaShmoshos. The Gemara says, Hahu pul musa the asl neherdo. There was an army unit that was situated in the area of Neherda in Bovel. Omar Luhu Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman said to his Talmidim, Pluku avidu kavushi kavshi ba'agma. Go out and make, so you bend down the reeds in the agam, in the area over there, the marshlands over there, and bend them down so that we can use them for tomorrow. And the next day, tomorrow, we'll be able to sit on these reeds. In other words, the reeds would be muktzah, so he was already preparing in advance on Erev Shabbos that they should go ahead and bend down the reeds so they can be used for the next day. Rabbi Bar Chama Rav Nachman. Rabbi Chama asked Rav Nachman the following question. Some say it was Rav Ukva who asked Rav Nachman, Tolush v'nout in, loy tolush v'lout loy. That which is detached, that can be used, but that which is attached cannot be used. And therefore, how can he instruct the Talmidim to go ahead and bend down these reeds? Omar le hasam b'uzdorin. There, it's talking about uzdorin, where these reeds already became hardened, and therefore there's not going to be a problem of using them as. Then Rav Nachman instructed Talmidim. Where do we know to make the distinction between uzrodin, that which has been hardened, and those reeds that have not been hardened? In the following brisa, the Tanya, hakanin v'ha'atidin v'ha'agin min ilon hein ve'enan kilayim bikerim. When it comes to the prohibition of kilayim, of planting admixtures together, let's say the classical would be planting a vine together with another plant. That's when it comes to a plant, but with a tree, there's no such kilayim. So it states over here, the reeds and the atidim v'higin, these are different types of thorn bushes that are considered to be an elon, and therefore there's no prohibition of kilayim bekerem. V'tanya idach, and yet another brisa states, kanim v'hakidam v'ha'ubivnin min yerekain v'hem kilayim bekerem. Whereas when it states that the reeds and these other items, that is a kidon, like a boisem or a bonim, these are different things that are considered to be a plant. And therefore, hein kilayim bekerem. They do have kilayim bekerem. So ask the Gemara, Kashi Hadadi. The first brisa states that kanim reeds are like a tree, and therefore there's no issue of kilayim. The second brisa states that indeed it is like a plant, and there is an issue of kilayim. Answers the Gemara, El shmamina kan be'uzrodin, kan be'she'en uzrodin. Shmamina. The difference is that the first brisa there's no issue because these are kanim like trees. Those are talking about kanim that have been hardened. Whereas the latter brisa is talking about where they're still soft, and therefore they're like plants, whereby they are aser b'kilayim. Ask the Gemara, V'kida min yereku? That which is stated in the Brisa of Kida is a yerek. Indeed, is it considered to be a plant? V'hatnan states in the Mishnah otherwise. Ein markivin pagim al gabe Kida levana mipnei shehu yerek be'ilan. It says you cannot go ahead and markiv. You cannot go ahead and graft the pagim on top of the Kida levana because it would be a yerek on an Elon. There's an Isser, a prohibition min hatara, to then plant, to make grafting between two different trees or a tree and a plant. And here it states that the Kida Levana is an Elon. So how can it state before in the Brisa that the Kida is a plant? Omra Papa Kida Lechud, V'Kida Levana Lechud. There are two different types of things. There's one thing called Kida, and that's what we said before is like a tree, is like a plant, and the Kida Levana is a tree, and therefore they're two different species, two different things, and therefore there's not a contradiction whatsoever.